Hello, Wake Up New Zealand. Well, it was really nice to meet Avi Yamini the other night. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Brian and Hannah Tamaki, for allowing that to happen, for him to use your premises. Um, yeah, really good. But then there was this auctioning of this t shirt that said Kiaora, North Korea. Well, what sprung to my mind was some research I did a couple of years ago. And I was thinking about this North Korea thing when the t shirt was being auctioned off. So I want to go back to Tony Blair's government, 2007. Now, he established what was called the Fixated Threat Assessment Centres. So a number of people and a number of newspapers actually called him out on this. The Daily Mail News on the 27th of the 5th, 2007, called it Tony Blair's Stalker Squad, as he had quietly set up this fixated threat assessment centre where suspects could be detained indefinitely by using mental health laws. So those people that accuse the government of using draconian laws, of abusing human rights, could actually be detained and enforced to undertake mental health treatment. Those that were under suspicion, those that are thought to be harassing or causing any harm to MPs. So that would cover MPs, royal family, public figures, but it mainly was around MPs. And this gave the government sweeping powers to check, analyse, ask for people's ID, and ask what their movements were. And if they didn't comply, they could have a £5,000 fine imposed on them for not complying, for answering questions by the police. So at this time, with the Fixated Threat Assessment Centre, more than 10,000 suspects were being analysed as to criticising Tony Blair's government or on suspicion of causing some harm, but with no criminal conviction. They hadn't done anything criminally wrong. There was no evidence of criminality, just plainly the thought police controlling people's lives. So they could be detained without trial, where the government would choose a representative to act on the suspect's behalf while they were being detained. So this fixated behaviour, they referred to newspaper articles, they referred to posters, to just talk on the street. They referred to anything they could. So you just had to be a suspect that was suspected of doing something against an MP, against the government. So the line being very blurred between criminal and clinical investigations, because the British government brought in a bill and it was passed where they could mandate private courts. These trials were held in privacy, and the suspects' names, because of confidentiality, were never known. So no one knew how many people were being held as suspects. And when I say were, that still is Well, we have the FTAC, Fixated Threat Assessment Centre, in Victoria under Daniel Andrews. We, in September 2017, I believe it was September, anyhow, it was 2017, the New Zealand government actually introduced Tony Blair's Draconian Wartime questioning plan to New Zealand under a pilot. In 2019, it was established as a permanent place in New Zealand, a Fixated Threat Assessment Centre, Tony Blair's plan in New Zealand. So when I saw that T-shirt at Avi Yamini, I thought of Tony Blair's communist North Korean plan that had permanently been established in New Zealand. So, with limited rights to appeal, and how many people have actually been detained in New Zealand? Well, someone actually did a request through FYI, that's like OIA, as to information as to gender of how many people have been detained under the Fixated Threat Assessment Centre in New Zealand. What were their gender? What was their age, religion, etc., etc.? Well, there was a reply to that. So the reply was information from the government for details of people detained in the FTAC in New Zealand was requested for the dates between the 2017 and 2020, the number of people, religion, gender, age of those detained. And the response was from the Director of National Intelligence New Zealand Police to all questions that he put was non-applicable. They were not answered. Non-transparency. Zilch. So there was no answers to those questions. So we still do not know whether people have been detained, whether they are being detained, whether they are being forcibly given mental health treatment, whether they're being forcibly detained in a mental health unit. No one knows. So, yes, Kiaora, North Korea. You're right, Avi Yamini. It is Kiaora, North Korea. Wake up, New Zealand.